Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a game versus Infernal, and we're going to be on Lost Hope here. Starting out, I'm going to be going for command post first. And I did start the recording a little bit late, so that's why you didn't see my dog go right away, but we're just jumping right in. Put that down, and I'm just scouting. I'm going to find Alpha up here on the top left, and he's going to send his
Our forces are under attack.
his Hexen across the map to harass my units. This doesn't matter at all. The Hexen does 8 damage, and with 50% reduction on the Bobs, it can't do any damage to you. Once the dog arrives, you can pull additional workers that are overcharged and try and kill it, like this. I'm not going to pull the additional ones. I'm just going to have the 2 of them fight, because even this, the Hexen loses. So even if he uses the skull on there, he still loses that. I'm just going to repair, and he's going to be forced to leave. So he's going to cast it in the skull. It almost gets my dog, the second skull, but I managed to save it with the repair. And once I've got workers building at all times, and I've got that excess money, I'm going to put down my barracks, same as normal. Now that my dog's all healed up, I'm going to go scout back across the map and take a look at what's going on. I need some additional information. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to transfer that 5 to Therium that I normally do. So you can see my barracks just continuing production here. And my dog's coming up the ramp. I'm going to see he's got a worker, a vault, and a conclave. And I'm going to try and poke the Hexen a bit more, see if I can't get a bit more damage. I don't expect a kill, but this type of move right here that I got a skull, and I made him pull some of his workers. That's good. That's free. My dog didn't die or didn't lose anything, and so that's just value. I'm going to go ahead and grab the plant and head right back in, because I see that's the skull moving on the map. But he's already got some gaunts out that he produced, and so I'm going to have to back out. I'm going to go send it off to get the other healing plant. And I'm just going to be building my biokinetics lab and teching up, because I see he's only got 1 production structure each, so I'm not really worried about an attack. And so I'm just going to keep making workers, whole bunch of workers, and once my biokinetics lab is done, I'm going to start my exo production, and soon enough I'm going to be adding that 2nd and 3rd barracks in that I normally do. I'm going to get my quick draw hustle, and here you go, you can see I'm about to add my 2nd and 3rd. There's the 2nd one, and the 3rd one will follow shortly after. I'm going to go take a look at what he's up to. I noticed the brute is going down, and suddenly my scout somehow missed an attack, an all-in that was kind of coming. It's not exactly all-in, because he's got an economy behind it, but not much of one. And so I'm just going to overcharge. I'm just going to build a sentry post, keep the Lancer alive. Bit of miss micro by me here, but it's not a big deal. And once I get the sentry post up with the buzzsaw turret, he's got to leave. You can't win that, especially when Bobs are overcharged. You really don't have to panic if someone comes and attacks you early. Any Infernal that attacks you early is very likely not going to win. Especially if it's at your base. If you're out on the map and you take a bad trade, they're more likely to win in the long run. But you can just put down a turret, no problem, and you can overcharge your units, and you can defend pretty much any fight. I'm going to put up another sentry post up front there, and that's because I'm going to be moving my one from where I currently built it to, I'm going to move it forward more, so that's in a better spot. I'm going to kind of set up a Sim City here. I've got those 2 exos. That's blocking in case any fiends try to do a run by. They can't get in now. And as soon as that's done, you're going to see I salvage that post, and I'm going to move him forward. And I'm building that sentry post, even though I don't normally, because there's quite a few units there. And so I thought it'd just probably be best to get a permanent sentry post. You can see I'm going to go after that fiend back here, make sure I deny that scouting. And my 3rd barracks is up, so I'm just going to keep making my exos. That little pet in the top right of the screen, he gave me a heart attack. I thought that was him coming in for another attack, but it was not.
Not enough
And from here, there's not much to comment on. I'm just continuing to make my workers, continuing to make my exos. I'm going to be going up into tier 2 very soon because I've got ideal saturation on both of my bases. So there you go, you can see the tier 2 is in production, and I've got a pretty strong worker count, and I'm ready to go into the mid game pretty nicely. From here, I'm just kind of sitting around. I was actually looking at some messages and stuff because there's not too much to do. I'm just kind of grouping up my units and waiting for them all to come together, and now I'm going to hit my third base while I move out on the map. This is typically what I recommend, is while you're on the offense, you can expand back at home so that you know, they're less likely to be focused on counterattacking.
Upgrade complete.
So now that my exos have the speed cap, I'm just going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to promote some of them, and now that I have the speed cap, I'm going to run directly into a mine. But you can't catch kiting exos, especially if they have the speed cap. No matter how, even speed gaunts can't catch it, and so I'm just going to take an amazing trade here. Speed exos are so good, and they're so fast, and you can see Elf is going to start to panic here because he's seeing the exact same thing.
Construction complete.
I'm going to shield the dog there. It doesn't actually matter what unit you shield. And you can see Elf is still panicking. he's confused a lot. It's all about the speed exos. I've said it in the past that speed and range are the two strongest things in an RTS. I'm going to give a question mark because I wasn't really sure if it was a technical problem or what. And I'm just going to continue my workers at home. And now that I'm on 3 bases, I'm going to be going up to that 4th and 5th barracks. And he's going to be complaining about how strong they are. They're not that strong, but with speed camp, you know, exos are very good at kiting. So I'm going to make a dog. I don't know if everyone sees that, but I made a dog again after my first one died. Anytime they are going for mines or they're going for Mirmasa, that's the big OP circle one, you want to have a dog or two with you so that you can detect those things. Now that my worker count's increasing, I'm just going to be moving some to Therium, and I'm going to be taking my health camp here. And this is just so I can heal up all my exos. I don't really have to worry about making medics right away. I'm going to start to roll out my medics, but it's more so all their energy isn't going to be expended immediately now, since I have the health camp. Continuing worker production, supply block, no worries there, nothing to see there. Yep, see, no supply block to be seen. And there's not much else to comment on as of right now either. I'm just kind of grouping up. I'm going to go get the speed cap again. I'm starting to add in some lancers so that I have something to tank. And I'm going to assign my dogs to the back end of my army just so that they can both beat detection but also not run straight in there. And I'm going to start to add in my med techs. After I grab this camp, I'm ready to move out. I am kind of running with my exos first, but I use the dog howl ability, which is a detection, and it's got a lot of range with that detection, so I'm going to be completely fine. And I'm going to move forward here, and I'm going to try and poke in. This is pretty tricky because there's 3 meat farms and a stone there for defense, but it's not a big deal. My exos still have the speed cap, and so I'm going to try and take this fight. Bit of miss micro by me. My units walked forward by accident. I didn't mean to have them do that, so they took a bit of extra damage, but I took that little group. You've seen me do that in the past. I took a group of exos and split them off and took out the Hellborn, focused it, and he's gonna pull out the old ping excuse. I don't know if that was accurate or not, and then just leave. And that's gonna take us for the win, and the result's actually bugged here, but we moved up in Gold League. Okay, and welcome to game 2. We're going to be on Boneyard, and we're going to be versus GrimmyUK, the streamer, StarCraft streamer mostly, and I think he plays a lot of Stormgate now as well. I don't get to play him anymore. I played him quite a few times on my initial climb up, but I think my MMR range is a bit too high now. So he's going to be on Infernal, and I'm just going to be doing the same strategy as always. I'm going to be command post first, Send my dog across the map, get some damage. Anytime he deals enough damage to me, I'm going to go grab the healing fruit and just send it right back in to deal more damage. He's going to recall his Hexen, so I'm just going to head straight over to his base and take a look at what's going on. I'm going to pull my 4 workers and overcharge, and I'm going to be building that second expansion.
Our forces are under attack.
I actually missed the fact that he had an imp going to the natural there. I could have blocked that instead of going for the Hexen more, but it's not a big deal. Sometimes you miss those things, and I could barely see the imp anyway. So I'm going to be looking for the health fruit. I was still a little confused. This was still pretty early in the patch as to where it was, but I found it. I kind of remembered where it was. Now that my second command post is done, I'm just going to be making workers. Whole bunch of workers. The most important thing. Always be making workers. Gotta have a good economy so that you can scale up and get a big army. And once I've got that 150, I'm going to throw down my barracks right away. And my workers are still in production. I'm going to do 2 on this time instead of 3, but minor change, doesn't matter that much. Plus I see he's only got a vault, so it's not like it would make any difference. I'm just going to be poking his Hexen some more here. It was only white health that I was killing, so it's not actually going to do anything, but you know, it's just about being annoying, and maybe I can get a skull out of it. And he ends up pulling some workers, and I get a skull, so that was well worth it in the end. Now that my barracks is done, I'm going to start my Lancer, just so I can get a couple to tank. And soon enough, after I've seen he's only got 1 vault and he's expanding, I'm just going to be tacking up into my biolab and continuing my worker production. I'm going to go try and find a way to heal my dog. I think I'm just going to send him home to repair, rather than grabbing the other health fruit. I was still a little unsure where some of the health fruits were at the time, so I'm just going to send him home, not a big deal. And I'm just going to keep my Lancer at home. He doesn't need to go out and do anything. This was during the patch where creep camps still did not give a lot of money, keep in mind. And the health camp, for example, gave 0 money. And so there's no need for me to really be taking it, so I'm just not going to at this time. I'd rather keep it. If it's not going to give me much money, I'd rather keep it and use it at a better time for killing it tier 1. I am going to catch an imp after I scout here, and the dog's going to do that thing where he glides around. It's a good thing they fixed this, because look at him, he just glides around every time you try and attack. Very annoying. You lose like 3 or 4 hits there that you should, but that's now fixed in the current patch, so that's good. I'm going to start my quick draw hustle back at home, and I'm going to be beginning my exo production. He's got 2 brutes and a Hexen trying to escort this imp, and it looks like he's going for a 3rd base, so I'm just going to confirm that he is. I still have vision on that imp, which was a little weird, but I'm going to use my howl ability and see that he's going for a crazy, greedy 3rd base. And I don't really want to let that happen. So I'm just going to move out right away. I saw he's got 2 brutes and a Hexen. That's not enough to stop, you know, some of my units, especially if I get quick draw hustle. So I'm going to start moving my units across the map, and I'm going to rally additional ones that come out. One of my Bobs got hit by the skull that he had cast, but that doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything. And I'm going to begin attacking and pressuring here. My second barracks is done, so I'm going to be adding an exo production on that one as well. And I'm going to be adding my 3rd barracks as well. I'm still following the build. Even though there's a variation on when I'm moving out and when I'm pressuring, I'm still following the build, and that's very important. He's going to split into fiends here, which is interesting. I should also note that I have my tier 2 on the way. I was going to try and run here, but now I'm committed. His fiends had the surround on me, and there's no way I'm getting out of that. With my exos, I focus the Hexen right away to try and kill it. The Hexen is the one who does the most damage, and he's got the skulls. My tier 2 finishes, so I promote my exo in the back to deal more damage, and I'm going to promote my low HP unit there, and I'm going to shield my Lancer up front who's tanking, and pop a promote on him too to give him additional HP. Remember, units get bonus HP every time they promote, so if they go up to tier 2, they're getting 20% bonus HP, and that is immediately applied. Back at home, I am macroing. I'm going to lose one of my Lancers, but I traded maybe 20 units for his, for my 1, and so I think that's pretty good. And I'm just going to start my kiting now that I'm free. He is going to try and intercept me, but my exos are a little too fast, and I'm just barely going to be able to micro this one away. He naturally promotes to tier 3, which is just crazy unlucky for Grimmy here, because he gets additional HP, and I'm just going to be able to out-micro him, and he's got no production because he went for this greedy third base, and he's going to give me a compliment on my micro, and that's going to be the game. Thanks for watching.